Is it working? Yeah, are you good? All right, sick. Hi,
I'll be,
everybody, and welcome to the Neon City Daily Podcast. I'm Jamie.
I'm Nick. What?
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 I am still Dave, but Josh may or may not be Josh.
Okay, can people hear Josh? Awesome. Josh and Dave are muted, apparently. No, Dave is fine. All right, cool.
I just wasn't saying anything before.
Now, this
Ooh.
is what I call a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, no. If there's a machine,
So, so how you been, Nick?
yeah, we're pretty good. We're pretty
Yep.
good.
Yep, yep.
Have we got Josh on stream?
Fantastic.
Excellent. Okay, well, how are we all been?
See, now the problem is So we have someone in chat saying Josh muted. Josh. I'm going to wait just a moment. What have you done? Still,
Yeah, you're definitely muted.
okay. So, you know what? Let's just keep going while Josh
Yeah, okay.
figures out his dramas. Yeah, just
Josh is sorting out his life at the moment, but how have the rest of you guys been?
Yeah, I mean, good.
Nice,
Pretty good.
nice.
Just
I think I've had COVID since we last talked.
Yeah,
so
I think you
have I,
have.
actually. Yeah, I think like since we last had a podcast up, I think both me and Dave have been hit by COVID, and it put us both down hard, like hard, like brick to the face hard.
Yeah,
Like I like fever dreams and everything for me. So,
let us know if when Josh speaks, if you hear him.
Yeah, let us know in the chat if Josh.
Nick and Dave have been COVID proof.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I had to put a lot of streaming on hold. That really annoyed the absolute crap out of me because I kind of had found a bit of a rhythm. I was doing, just walk with a rhythm and get that worm. I was up for it, but I couldn't trust my voice after I had COVID to like just hang on and be understandable for any period of time, especially because then like I ended up with I kind of like finished testing positive for COVID. Had a week of work. Then
sorry, Nick, continue the story. I'm sure it's not annoying.
Watching the chat yelling at Josh.
Yeah, okay. Epic Josh unmuted.
According to Duck, I sounded like I'd changed my vocal cords out for gravel. That makes a lot of sense, and that's how it felt too. There was a lot of coughing, there was a lot of dying. But like I had a week where I wasn't testing positive for COVID anymore, and I wasn't like dying. But then I ended up with pneumonia, which is apparently fairly regular if you have COVID and then basically go, no, I'm a manly man, I can go back to the gym and go to work again.
Yeah.
So I kind of wrecked myself for another week. And
given how old you are, we were worried about the pneumonia.
I am beyond retirement age, as we all know.
It's true.
I am. Yeah. Anyone hanging out with me is actually technically just caring for their elders at this point. But I go through that, and this is probably like the biggest change since the last podcast, is because of the time that I had off. Right. Because of the time I had off, I didn't have a job to go back to.
Right.
So I spent like a week in pain limbo, where like the company I work for is just sending me to bits and pieces of different work. I'm stacking frozen fish like fire logs and stuff. And now I'm at like another job where it's like, oh no, Duck takes offense to, I'm assuming, what I said about the fact that she's caring for the elderly. I meant it lovingly.
I mean, Duck, you complained about wiping his ass. It's on you.
I think you know just as well as anyone that if I get to the point where someone else has to do it for me, that's when I'm calling it and I am hanging myself. It's
Why
done.
do you keep making people do it then?
It's finished. It's finished at that point, Josh. Life is over. I'm just calling it. If I can't
Just
find a
saying
shotgun, I'll end up impaled on a fence or something.
Double standards from you, but anyway.
Josh is the way that you're kind of accusing Nick, going like, why do you keep getting people to do it? It makes me think that there's more to the story.
Oh, I've wiped his ass.
Yeah, okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
I see. I can't do it back to him to pay it back because his ass is a splatter zone no matter what period you get to it. But so I'm at a new job where I'm not wrecked all the time now. So I'm hoping to get back to a decent streaming schedule.
Right.
Soon, probably next week. Hopefully, I'm looking at like maybe a Wednesday night cool guy thing.
Yeah.
And I'll go from there. So, there's a lot of video game talk, but we're going to get into that, I'm assuming, as we go.
Oh, I mean,
Pretty much. We probably
could-
finish with the ass wiping for now. but-
yeah,
yeah, just for now.
for
Just
now.
for now.
We'll put
Like, it'll
put a
probably
pin
come
in
back
that
again.
one.
we'll circle back.
Yeah, no, it'll probably come back again.
It always
But,
caps the end of the podcast nicely.
It does seem to. It does seem to. But yeah,
So in your downtime, what games have you been playing?
I was gonna say I have had a lot of downtime, like downtime that I didn't even try to get for video games lately, and so Guild Wars 2 is still eating me pretty hard. I tend to my thing at the moment is that I kind of I finished all the stories for all the expansions, and that cough wasn't COVID, hopefully. I finished all the expansions for Guild Wars 2, and I jumped into some Living World stuff. So there's Guild Wars 2 just came out on Steam, so a lot of people might not understand how it works with that. But there's expansions, and then in between expansions, there was Living World stuff that came out for a limited period of time, where there was obviously rewards and things associated with it. And if you were on while that was going, you got that, and you could keep playing it again and go into that area.
Well, it's
When
always
you say
permanent.
when you
ended
say
up
limited
getting
period
it.
of time, there was a limited window where you could log in and
You
get
could
the
log in to
content
get
for
it.
free.
Yeah. And so now that it's not there, you have to pay for it. Josh desperately wanted me to and Dave, I think, to go and help with some stuff in one of the maps. So he ended up giving us the money to
right.
get the Living World
He
thing.
bought us the newest expansion, wasn't it?
Oh, that's right. He did
What
too.
you guys fucking everything.
Man,
Dragons.
Josh has given those guys a lot of. To be fair, it's money well spent because
We
the
needed
sheer
that
amount
guild
of
hole.
time.
We
Who's your daddy?
needed that guild hole.
Yeah, apparently, my daddy's the guy that wipes my
Up
ass.
your ass, yeah.
And buys you gems for Guild Wars.
It's him for Guild Wars. But yeah, so I jumped into that, and then I kind of did a bunch of that, and I was like, okay, I'm a big story content guy, big PvE content guy. Oh shit, what do I do now? And I ended up running around to get a mount, the Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually a lot of fun once I kind of figured out what I was doing. It doesn't explain super well in game
No.
what you need to do.
I'm
And
glad to hear
kind
that
of
actually,
unfortunate.
because every time in the early stages of you getting the Griffin that I would log
I was
on,
Just mad.
it
I'm
was
not gonna lie,
just
there was a
just
lot of
mad.
bitching.
angry
Yeah,
Nick.
I was just mad. I
Yeah.
was just so unhappy. And well, actually, once again, you gave me gold so I could get that done, Josh. So it's just Captain Moneybags over there.
Josh continuing to pave the way for progress.
Yeah, Josh is paving the way for continued effort on Guild Wars.
Jamie's contractually obligated to play now for at least another 18 months.
But yeah, so I went and got a cool mount, so I'm pretty happy with that. Once again, I kind of hit this weird wall. I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And my current thing in that is to get slightly better armor, like the next tier of armor.
Yeah.
I need to get what's called ascended armor. And that's all well and good, and I can see that like path to progress, but I don't like just sitting there crafting for hours. I'd rather do something.
Now, I want to just quickly
So-
cut in here. You don't have to craft for hours.
No.
You have to craft for 20 minutes, and then you can make all the ascended armor.
But to do that, what I've done, like every guide I've ever found, I've always kind of like started it and I've gone to do it, and then it's like, oh, you're going to get halfway through this and you're going to be broke.
Yeah, it is
It's like, oh.
they do warn you how much money
Yeah,
up
yeah.
front it's going to cost if you
Yeah.
start from nothing.
So what I ended up doing was just like finding different activities to get the ascended
Yeah.
armors. And I'm not going to lie, like I've got a couple pieces so far, and it's going pretty well. Like there is ways to just play the game and get them, which is really nice. Neville just asked if he saw an LTT store water bottle. Yes, you did. Thank you,
Good eye,
Dave.
Neville.
And
Massive shills.
So that's been really cool. But suddenly I've ended up really enjoying PvP.
Yeah.
which is, and I'm sure Jamie will attest to this,
Quite unlike you.
just weird as shit. Like, I will admit, I feel like one of the things that got me into it was that, like, I hate looking at meta for these games. Hate it with a passion.
Yeah.
Can't stand it. Like, play something you enjoy
Mm-hmm.
and just fucking deal. You know, like, play something you enjoy playing and like the style of it and go for it from there. That I've got way more respect
Sterling.
for people that do that.
Sorry.
Sterling.
Full
But
Sterling.
giddy. But what has like actually happened though is that the toon that I was enjoying is an engineer, and in Guild Wars 2 at the moment, the engineer is kind of broken. Like
Incredibly busted.
Yeah. So I go into multiplayer, and you know I've got turrets and I've got a mech and I've got all this stuff, and all I really do is just keep myself alive while all these things I've got just passively make people mad. Like engineers at the moment are running around PvP maps, grabbing people by the butthole, opening them up and shoving a gun barrel down them.
And the gun's rapid fire now.
That's it, and the gun's rapid fire. So I've been really enjoying the PvP of that.
This is great because you're going like, I found that I really like PvP when my class is broken.
Yeah.
And I don't blame you because I also rolled an engineer for that purpose as well, so that we could just, kind of cruise through some of the dailies that we had to do.
Yeah, no, because doing 3 dailies gets you 2 gold. And you can either go into your PvE map world and go and dick around for like half hour, 45 minutes, depending on what the things are, to get that and get you 2 gold out of it, or you can go and do kind of okay in one PvP match and it's just done.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, 10 minutes versus 45. And
it's a bit of a no-brainer.
The rewards for doing PvP, I've found are really good too. They're 9/10 are cosmetic.
Yeah.
But I've just found that I see stuff in those reward tracks, and I look at it, and I go, there's literally a path to that item.
Yeah.
Like, I want that item, and all I've got to do is play enough PvP to get level, bang.
Mm-hmm.
And it's right there in front of me the whole time. And the progress at the moment, obviously, is a bit faster because it's like the 10-year anniversary thing. So they've given us a bit of a buff.
Yeah.
But I can see it in front of me, and it's so fucking attainable that it's just... I sit there and I just get that dopamine from the bar going up.
Right.
Every time. So it's just a good time. It's a good time. I'm waving my little T-Rex arms around. That's how excited I am about it.
Man. I
But
was watching a thing about Better Call Saul, and someone was saying about how much like Bob Odenkirk, like he uses his hands for all of his acting and enunciating, and now that's like always in the back of my head. So whenever anyone talks, and I watch their hands, I'm like, "Are you like Bob Odenkirk?" And so I was watching you.
You can't
Fucking you
unsee
watch
it.
me.
You can
You
usually
watch
hear
me.
when Nick's passionate because he'll hit a desk.
Yeah. I've been trying to... I have been making, especially after the last time we did this format, I have actively been trying to remember to not do that.
Yes.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Do this with your hands. Like,
Yeah, well, I
stick-
think that's part of my...
You have like 3 cats. Just get one of them and pat it.
smack the cat.
Just I was going every time, poof, booty smack on the kitty, which
But yeah,
my cats are not big fans of.
Guild Wars, we won't make another Guild Wars episode, but it's seen some exciting growth, I think, because of the Steam release, 10-year anniversary.
Well, look,
release on Steam.
there is actual precedence to talk about it this
There
time
is
around
more
because
than last month. Yes,
massive anniversary, big release. I believe it's doing well. I remember when the game came out on Steam. I remember way back on Monday. It was Tuesday. That I couldn't move around the servers. The lag was so bad because there were so many people.
Yeah, a lot of lag. There were queues, which I've never come up against for anything in Guild Wars.
Yeah,
there wasn't a queue to log on, but for certain game modes there were queues.
Yeah, the big world versus world.
Yeah,
LV World was confused, yeah.
It's
wrong.
honestly, I was saying to you, Jamie, on the day, I'm like, it was good and bad. It's bad that I got lag and I can't play today, but it's good because there's a massive, obvious, very real influx of people.
Yes.
And even if they retain, 50%, of those that jump on board via Steam. It's a win for the game. It's 10 years old.
Yeah. It's still pulling players
and it's
in.
kind of, I don't know, it's always just kind of been the quiet child that just gets on with it.
Well, it's consistently
they're not
been,
good at marketing themselves, or they don't like to spend money on it.
I feel like it's consistently been updated with quality of life stuff, though. So one of the things is that while people don't hear about it a lot from their advertising, because to be honest, I don't see a lot. But you know, if you talk to anyone that's played Guild Wars 2, generally they're like, "Yeah, man, I'd let it murder my dog if it needed to."
Yeah,
like
it's a
just
staple
a really
of the
game.
genre for sure. Obviously established through Guild Wars 1. So it's exciting to see where it goes. That's still what I'm playing. Continuing on from last month, I was playing it heavily. Still playing it heavily. I like that. You know, I have to remind myself because I had 2 weeks off last time we spoke about it, and I was able to grind out things. Really, just sit there and just do it. Just commit my life to it.
Yeah, you were on it. Yeah.
And now I have to remind myself, because I'm back at work and everything, that it's an MMO. It's designed to take a long time to achieve things, to get things, when you're playing it like a normal adult with human responsibilities. So honestly, that was a bit challenging. I'm like, but Guild Wars, we discussed, I think it balances well money. It's certain. I would never call it pay to win.
No.
There's absolutely nothing you can get that improves your character statistics or attributes or anything like that. So there's no shortcuts for the things that I want. I got no choice but to grind out in game, and that's fine. But it's just changing my mentality from holiday mode.
I'll say you were playing quite a lot this week, and I wasn't at work, but I know that you were.
Damn it, man! Come on.
You got to figure though. Josh is also the guy that was supposed to be at work and watch Top Gun Maverick. So
we need to stop this right now, because I told a new team member at work about Neon City Daily, and I don't think he's a rat, but.
Well, I mean, realistically, if someone hears about this that shouldn't, you know who it is now.
Yeah, and obviously I was just playing through my lunch break every day.
That's it.
So we'll be right.
But yeah, so what I've actually, I think I don't feel like I hit Guild Wars 2 too hard. I don't feel like I've burnt out on it, but I have gotten to a point now where I have kind of started breaking it up with other games and not felt too guilty about it.
Yeah.
And like playing a couple other things in between.
It looks like you and I had similar thoughts this evening, actually, on what game to break. Because I'm doing a similar thing. I'm waiting for Hogwarts Legacy, which I've pre-ordered, and it's the first game I've pre-ordered in years.
At a long time, yeah.
But I saw you playing Cyberpunk, and I was like, I'm going to play some Cyberpunk tonight.
It's like, I don't know. I feel like I don't even need necessarily a break from Guild Wars. No, and like I said, I'm not sick of Guild Wars. I think I just needed to break up a little bit from that style of game.
Yes.
Now and then. Because I'm still like, I want to play Guild Wars. But there's other stuff sitting there that I'm just like, but if I play this for a bit, I'm actually super keen for just the pace of this or how this feels to play. So, yeah, and I mean, it's been good. Like, because I play Pokemon Unite up, and Nibble is waiting for Cyberpunk to finish its update so we can finally start modding it. Understandable. The Cyberpunk is at a very stable state at the moment, if I can say. So, at least the Xbox One version, that's what I've been playing.
Xbox One?
Yeah, Xbox.
You've got that fucking shiny computer.
Yeah, well, Cyberpunk came out a long time before I got this shiny
on sale.
computer.
Play it on PC as God intended, okay?
Well, see, this is the thing, though. This is when I do eventually play it on PC, you guys can all sit there and say, see? Mm-hmm.
Ray
It's not even
tracing.
Series X. You might as well be playing it on the 360.
Ray tracing.
Wow. Where was I? Words. But yeah, Cyberpunk is a pretty good, feels like a finished state game now, which is nice. I do like that it's that
It's good
point.
performance on PC, I found.
Yeah, and it's definitely. I couldn't, with the stuff that I got used to dealing with when it first came out, and I heavily played it and ran through it. I almost didn't expect it to get to this point of complete, because I just couldn't fathom how they'd go, yeah, let's actually proper fix it.
There was no doubt in my mind that they would actually proper fix it. I mean, The Witcher 2, the Witcher games all kind of came out in a pretty jank state. Not to the same extent as Cyberpunk, but I mean, even The Witcher 1 back in the day, like they completely re-released that.
Oh, yeah, they totally re-released it, yeah.
Redid the translation.
That was on the Neverwinter Nights engine, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, jeez. Oh, jeez, that's a long ass.
Hey, speaking of mods, did you guys see that someone added the Nemesis system to Skyrim?
Did they?
Yeah.
No.
And apparently it's really well done.
That'd be intense.
What is this mod? I want
it. It's called Shadow of Skyrim Nemesis and Alternative Death System mod.
Oh.
Like they've even added it into the quest log and things like that, so you can track who you need to get revenge against and things like that.
Nice.
The Nemesis gains a unique name, grows in strength, so this is if they defeat you, grows in strength, steals your weapons, and inflicts a debuff on you. The only way to remove that debuff and gain back your stuff is to seek your Nemesis and kill them. And it will track that for you in the quest log, so...
That's awesome.
See, that would be. I think that one of the reasons that's interesting for me is because the point that I got to in Skyrim before I stopped playing was the point where I was walking around and it didn't matter what ran at me, I could sneeze at it and it'd fly to Gibbs. And so I feel like having some kind of Nemesis system like that would probably make it a bit more interesting.
Kale makes a good point in chat though, and this is something I was going to bring up.
Yeah,
is Warner Brothers probably won't be too happy.
No.
With a patented system too, being used. I mean,
well, if the system, if they've implemented this system and it's just like completely, they've just done it on their own volition, their own coding, they're taking an idea and kind of like,
morphing it into that way.
They're clear. They're not even charging for it. Like,
they're not
profiting off it.
They're not profiting anyway.
Speaking of Skyrim mods, though, I actually have also been playing a little bit of Skyrim, and I played the Skyrim Together mod.
I was wondering how that went, actually, because it'd be a cool idea.
It could have been better. And I say that because it was a lot of fun, but we kept crashing a lot. And once it gets stable, for what it is at the moment, it is a really, really... fantastic accomplishment. Jamie terrified. I didn't terrify you, Nibble.
It is a fairly ambitious mod, realistically. Yeah, to add that into a game.
Oh, that's right. I spawned in and looked at Nibble and
you're giving Nibble some grey hair by the sounds of it.
Yeah, he spawned in and my face was there in front of his or something like that. I spooked him. And that he looked into the eyes of my orc smash on head and he went, "This is a bad time for old Nibble."
That's fair. I understand that. I wouldn't want to spawn into existence staring into the eyes of an orc called Orc Smash on Head or whatever it was.
Smash on Head rules. But when it was working, it was a lot of fun, and I'm really excited for a more stable release.
So, I gotta ask, because this is something with any Skyrim player ever that does anything. How many cheese wheels did you collect?
Well, I didn't really have time to collect cheese wheels. It turns out the way that the game that it worked, it didn't matter if you were sneaking and you weren't visible. If you stole something, somebody else, like if someone else was in line of sight and a theft had been recorded, they went like, "You fucking took that." And so, I'd be like sneaking up, going like, everyone was stealing for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like go, all right, I'm going to do this properly. I'm just gonna be sneaking around, and I'm gonna like take this soul stone. No one's looking at me. It's mine now. And meanwhile, Nibble is talking to the Jarl of Whiterun, and he's there in front of all these guards, and they just kind of go like, "Hey, you took that soul stone, and
it's time."
And
you may have found the floor.
Yeah, so there are some bugs. Another really fun bug, I actually sent you a screenshot, Nick, was at one point when you fight the first dragon, like your introduction to dragon battle, they assign like 4 soldiers to come and help you attack the dragon.
Yeah.
And the game assigned those 4 soldiers to each character in the game, and there were like 5 of us. Nice. So there were quite a few soldiers. Like, and I didn't know this was happening because they wait for you outside the front of the entrance to the city. And so I was just kind of like walking down, like, you know, the rest of the gang are off stealing things and talking to the Jarl. I'm just kind of like going for a wander, and I just see, and it's the dead of night, by the way, in the game. Like, there was like, you know, 20 plus guards with torches just standing there, all tracking me, going, "Don't cause any trouble in town." I'm like, I won't.
You're just getting ready for the beating of your life.
Yeah, I was really concerned.
The Nemesis thing, that reminds me of sorry, just backtracking a little bit, that there's a new Lord of the Rings game in the works. Not the weird Gollum one.
Oh, I was going to say Gollum or...
No. There was a post from Take-Two.
Right.
And they're working with Weta, or however you pronounce it.
Weta Workshop.
Yeah, to make a new game.
I mean, good. Like, I always like it when someone that's actually working on a Lord of the Rings property gets involved with Weta, because Weta, let's face it, they did...
Well, they were created for the sole purpose of...
making Lord of the Rings movies, yeah. Like, they basically came up with so many of the designs for everything. Because, like, I've said this before, and it made someone mad, and I still don't care, that Tolkien is a really good creator, but he's not a good writer. So the amount of things that they had to kind of, like, consciously do on the fly and, like, make themselves and work out themselves, they did an amazing job on everything for the initial Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm not going to talk about The Hobbit or whatever this fucking Amazon series looks like, but that's just Eminem is not Sauron, but the
Jar Jar Sauron.
Sauron, like young, like before he turns into big pile of armor Sauron, I've like flaming vagina on a tower Sauron. Before
he's by Eminem?
That, they made him look like fucking Eminem.
I thought he was actually played by Eminem.
No, that would be
my interest.
Hilarious. I would actively watch it if that was the case, because that would be funny as fuck. But no, they just made him look like a weird, like a bleached-eyed, like early 2000s white rapper kid.
He's an elf, right? Is he an elf?
No, he's an Alandir. Alandir?
Same as Gandalf was.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But hashtag Eminem for
Get it trending.
I need that to happen now.
Can we get Vanilla Ice in there somewhere, though?
Oh, man. Yeah.
He can play all the Sauron.
I need Vanilla Ice to be like a general orc. Like a leading orc. Yeah, he's a linguist and historian first as far as Tolkien's concerned, Caswin. Yes, but yeah. So Weta Workshop, I'm always glad when they get involved with anything to do with
Lord of the Rings.
I'm always happy about it. Apparently the fact that I've questioned myself on something brings me shame.
They're probably
what race Sauron was. But yeah, it does hurt me a little bit. I haven't done my yearly reread of Lord of the Rings.
Well, I got in trouble
this year.
Yesterday.
Yes, you did.
I bought Lord of the Rings didn't buy the extended edition.
I looked at them, and the first thing I did was read the titles, and I went, "There's a word here that's not there."
He looked at my purchased copy of Lord of the Rings
that's supposed to be there. Where is the word extended? And I said to Josh, why are these not the extended editions?
Tail between my legs, I went back to the shop.
You
immediately
did. You made sure
and I bought the extended editions.
You did the proper thing that you were supposed to do when faced with that scenario. So
I didn't even know that they sold the regular edition in stores anymore.
Yeah,
well, I found it.
It pops up like really budget. It was one of those things where when I was working retail, I used to sell it sometimes, and I was like, I'm going to put these ones at the back.
And Fellowship of the Ring is 3 hours, 48 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's an intense movie watching.
It should be 8 or 9. Like, I would take all that film. I would take it in its original vision and everything that got filmed, and I would love it. I would be erect the whole time.
You would just watch it
even in
without
your
editing.
presence.
Gotta watch the 9-hour cut where it cuts back to Frodo and Sam talking about being the furthest from home he's ever been.
Yeah, I'd be all over it.
Critical scene, to be sure.
I'd be all over it, up in it, on it, rubbing it. I'd be there. And
we need to mention this because I was saying to you yesterday, in fact, because this topic got brought up, but I've only ever seen the theatrical cuts because I saw them in the theaters. And there was one time, Nick, where you tried to make me watch an extended edition of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The thing was, it was the middle of the fucking day. I did not want to watch Lord of the Rings in general at that moment. And you turn it on, and I'm like, this is a lot longer than I remember. And you kind of go like, yeah, it's the extended edition. And I sort of went, I don't want to do this.
Like, I am the guy that tricks people into watching Lord of the Rings.
You didn't trick me because I fucking walked away from it. I got to the point where I was not interested at that point in time watching it. And when that happens, I get sweepy.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I remember the Man of Steel incident where you were out cold.
I had a great nap.
Hey.
But speaking of watching things and like having experiences with them, I actually sat down and watched
Moonfall.
No, not yet actually. You've recommended Moonfall to me.
Everyone needs to watch Moonfall.
But I haven't been on it yet. But what I ended up sitting down and watching this weekend was so on Netflix, as we all know, things are very hit and miss. They're very much like, this is either going to be good or it's going to be just
they'll throw lots of things at walls and hope that something sticks.
Yeah, something sticks. And especially when they have like anime offerings. And so I'm a big fan of the Tekken series. I got into like a weird space where I didn't play them for ages just because they weren't immediately accessible to me, so I hadn't. And me and Jamie actually recently played some Tekken 7. And it was good. It was good fun. It was a lot of fun. A lot of good fun. Because it was on sale for like $7 on Steam.
Yeah.
Great. Heaps of fun. Loved it. So I haven't picked the main, which is frustrating, but I've been playing through the story at the moment. And what kicked me back into it was because on Netflix, they came out with a Netflix anime of like Tekken. It's called Tekken Bloodlines. Now...
Was it better or worse than Netflix Resident Evil series?
Better. I haven't even watched the Resident Evil series.
Better or worse than the original Tekken anime movie?
No, nothing is better than the original Tekken anime movie, except for maybe Lord of the Rings, as long as it's extended, Josh.
There's a raptor with stealth camo, and that's canon.
That's canon. But no, what they did for Tekken Bloodlines, they did that like 3D animation thing, which is cheaper, obviously. Yeah. It doesn't look bad, and I think that's because a lot of it's like the characters are generally all just people. They're not like robots, or they're not armor-plated things, or they're not whatever. They look like people, and it works in the same way that like what I likened it to in my head was that it was at about the same quality as, say, Guilty Gear Rise, where they've not to that quality, not that good, but they've made it so that they want it to look like it's 2D. It's very obviously still
consideration
where it's still 3D models, and I don't like it. I don't like that. It doesn't kind of really work as well as they think, but the story in it.
So you've invoked Guilty Gear, and I can see Jamie very concerned about where this is going.
Well, no. I'm thinking about other studios, like, because there's like one studio in particular, and I don't know if they did this one, that do 3D pretty okay. And
it's definitely not egregious, and I'm definitely not vomiting when I see it.
Because like the new Trigun reboot that they're doing is going to be 3D.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's like, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but at the same time, it doesn't look. It's no Berserk 2016.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of my bar. Like, if it's, I will still watch Berserk simply because I'm like, Berserk. But I can definitely see its flaws.
Have you watched Berserk 2016?
Yes, I actually have the Blu-rays of all 3 movies.
No. The movies are fine. They have
that's right. You're talking about the extended stuff, aren't you? The series.
The series.
No, I haven't watched that at all.
Nick, how could you not get the extended stuff?
I did. The things
Doesn't sound like it.
The things I didn't get with the bite-sized series stuff, Josh.
Man, the fucking the Berserk anime that is set after the Band of the Hawk movie series.
Right. Yeah.
Is a fucking disgrace.
Yeah, that's all I heard about it. That's why I didn't watch it.
Oh, dude. Oh, man. We're gonna have to watch it at some point, just so you can see.
That's fair, because let's face it, there's nothing that gets my blood pumping harder than something I love being torn to shreds.
Just completely destroyed.
And you know that I will.
You should watch the sequel trilogy for Star Wars.
Well, I've done it, and I've watched it angry so many times. Because that's part of my rewatch of that. I have to watch Star Wars in sequential order, so...
you still haven't seen 9, right?
No, I still haven't seen 9.
Yeah, okay.
Still haven't watched 9. And I never will unless I watch 1 through 8 first. And they've added, it's never happening. But, yeah, I watched Tekken Bloodlines. Tekken Bloodlines was fun and reminded me of, the old, remember when I'd, hire them on VHS from Harry's, Jamie, this anime about, Fatal Fury. Or the Tekken one, or the Street, or
Dude, the
whatever.
Fatal Fury one, still
was hilarious.
It's giving me memes to this day that have never left my brain.
Like the owl,
yeah,
shit.
The
huge eyes. But
that was canon too, I think.
But I genuinely watched Tekken Bloodlines. It was a pretty good, kind of vague retelling of just. It was just basically a show of hey, we're making it look like there's some fighting. It's passable animation, and this family's fucked.
Was Yoshimitsu in there?
No, he wasn't actually. He wasn't one of them in there. I think he was. Oh no, actually he was, but he got his ass kicked off screen.
Oh, I'm not going to watch it.
But that spurred me into playing some Tekken 7 again, and I forgot how much I enjoyed that.
What are they up to now with the Tekken games?
It had been a month.
Seven.
Yeah, so it'd been a month or so at least since we tried it online, and I've got a better connection now, so I was actually going to hit you up sometime to play some more.
Mm-hmm. Why have you got a better connection, Nick?
I've got a better connection because you and Dave jumped around in my roof.
Dave
ran a cable for me. Yeah.
I only found one dead mouse.
Yeah, nice.
And not the PC kind, the real life kind.
It's the real life kind.
Nick's not just lurching
every time I pick up one of these mice and just
up into the
manhole. I found a computer mouse in your roof, to be honest.
But yet again I played it, and I realised why I think I mesh with Tekken pretty well. And because I was trying to work out, I know more about fighters than I do than back in the day when I was playing Tekken. So, I tried to kind of relate that to it. I kind of want to find myself a grappler. Because I found that I really enjoy grapplers in those multi-dimensional fighters where you can circle. And then I realised that most characters are a mix of your usual archetypes, which is good. So I still haven't found my main because I haven't necessarily gone, no, not them.
Right.
And so it's not that I haven't found anyone that I mesh with, it's more that I haven't, narrowed it down to what character I like.
Have you played multiverse?
I bet it's just gonna be King.
It might be, yeah. I was looking at Armor King, but Armor King is complex as shit. And I've never meshed with Armor King. But even though I'm just man, you got the Road Warrior shoulders, you look cool as fuck. But, normal King, I'm thinking I might go. I don't know. Because I remember playing him a lot in Tekken 2.
Yeah.
Even though that's very different than 7. It's been a while.
It's at least 5 different.
I will also give Tekken 7 this. Playing through the story mode, I've only done the main story, which is like the Mishima family story, I think it's called. They, towards the end of it, when it's getting a bit more epic, I'm not going to lie, the story drops away, but what it does do is put you in settings that really kind of highlight how good the models are in that.
Oh yeah, no,
like just great. How well crafted, and the models in Tekken 7 hold up so well, and the lighting in it. I wasn't ready to be praising the lighting in a fighting game.
You know the lighting's good in.
Well, what?
Cyberpunk, but only on PC.
Yeah. But there's like this last fight where you're playing as Heihachi. Duck's a fan of Kazuya, and yeah, Kazuya tore my legs off so many times, even in that story playthrough. But the last big fight, and it's not spoilers. One of the last big fights in the story mode for the Mishima family, you're in the middle of an active volcano, like on a stone platform, while you're playing as Heihachi fighting Kazuya, who's like turning more and more into a demon as the rounds go on, and there's shit everywhere, and there's like you're both Saiyan powering up, and everything's going nuts, and it got right to the end of it, and all I was thinking to myself was just like, that lighting is fucking boss. Look at how it's working on the models. They look so fucking good.
Yeah, man.
And like all the particles and stuff, like, because Tekken's big on like the effects of like when you punch someone, it has a little.
Yeah.
You can play a Dragon Ball Z guy in Fortnite. That's all I have to contribute. You said that you're going Super Saiyan. And I wanted to contribute to this conversation because I don't like fighters, so...
I'm just nodding along like, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, see, Dave understands. Dave gets it.
I'm doing a lot of arm waves and talking about lighting and stuff. You should be happy.
But you're not punching your desk, so it's okay.
No, I've left the desk alone. But yeah, like, it's just a really cool fight. And so I think that's the thing. I'm like... I know that Tekken 7 was at EVO this year. And the championships were... from what I saw, I only saw the first few fights. I actually missed the championship. I'm planning on watching them at some point. But... God damn it, Nivell. Who's cooler, Goku or Kakarot? I am not getting into that discussion.
Vegeta.
Damn it. But yeah, the fact that it's still got such an active community, and we only just recently, from what I can tell, got a big patch to have like Tekken 5.0, like Tekken 7, the 5.0 patch or something.
Okay.
Because there's still people talking about the balance changes in it. Yeah. So it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a main stage game on EVO, so it's still being actively worked on. So at least, balance-wise and stuff like that.
And so I am keen to see where it goes. I'm keen to play more of it. At the moment, I'm kind of flailing and bouncing between characters, but I think I want to...
Drink responsibly.
No. I think I want to actively just get better with a guy.
Yeah. Coke out of your ass.
Hey, I'm used to drinking on the fly.
And I'll be honest.
And I've been a little bit...
You reached into the void and pulled out like this 2-liter bottle of Coke.
When you poured whatever alcohol that was, I thought... He's pouring a cup of it, so it's pre-mix, because you were pouring for quite a while. And then you added Coke. So it's either a really big glass or the mix is generous.
Well, I mean, it's like, this is the glass.
Oh my goodness, Nick.
I don't understand a bourbon glass.
Yeah, it's just your standard. It's just, I've poured my standard drink, Josh.
I don't judge. But you're gonna...
Yes, you do.
You don't drink. That's the thing.
That's the problem, John.
Your liver is a medical marvel.
I'm currently drinking Starwood twofold whiskey. It's an Australian whiskey made out of wheat. It comes from a Melbourne distillery.
I got to say, I prefer Japanese whiskey because they fold it over 1,000 times.
Then it can cut tanks.
That's right.
That's it.
Anyway, what have you been playing, Dave?
Vampire Survivors. Or Vampire Survivors.
Oh, man.
Swallow that mic a bit more. I can't hear you too good.
Vampire Survivor.
Ah, you're back on the Survivor train.
I'm back on that train, yes. Because, I've been interspersing with some Guild Wars 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do almost a daily sometimes.
Yeah, you are the least committed of the four of us. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine.
That said, though, you were logging in daily long before we decided to go back to it.
That's true.
Yeah.
You were actually.
When I used to do a lot of night shifts, I would often hook up to work's internet and play games. So
I still remember me and Jamie actually were online with you one day. We were talking about trying to get some dailies done, and we went like, there's a couple pretty easy ones. I've just got to mine these things. And me and Jamie were just like, yeah, I mean, we can probably go and find them. And you were straight up just like, oh, it's here near this waypoint. Just go and do it. And so my brain is just like, Dave fucking knows.
Dave's a miner by
so
heart.
much. He has fucking run around these maps.
Collecting.
It's so handy because when you're in chat, I could just say, "Well, I need to get this thing," and if you've consistently seen it everywhere, you're just like, "Oh, it's over here." And I'm like, "Sweet!"
It's my version of Farming Simulator, really.
Dave, as an avid collector in a game like Guild Wars, do you get the bank extension or the collection extension?
Oh, I do have the collection extension, so I can hold double. I think at the moment,
Nice.
of each material.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
And I think I grabbed the bank one early years ago when they were on sale. So I basically hoard my gold and then turn it into gems when there's something on sale that I'd like.
I need to check how you're doing on achievements in Vampire Survivor, because we both 100%ed it, and then it was updated.
Yeah, and I didn't play for a while after that, but I'm back into it again now. I'll just log into Steam and see where I'm up to.
I actually
You're at 119 out of 132.
Getting there.
Getting there.
See,
I actually the other day.
I sat there the other day. I got a new control pad for my PC because my other one died, and I went, I'm going to try it on something. What can I try it on? And I realised they had Vampire Survivors installed, so I finally actually spent time in Vampire Survivor instead of just playing it once and sitting down. And I have to admit that when I did sit there, booted up Vampire Survivor, played a little bit. I think I maybe lasted about 20-something minutes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I can see why these guys have played it for so much and so.
Wait a second, Nick. Hold up
one
sec. You got a new control pad and you decided that the game to test it with is Vampire Survivor.
Yeah, because it was just
Not
easy.
like
It was just
the analog stick. All the other buttons are untested.
All the other buttons don't exist. Well, to be fair, I spent a lot of time playing Tekken 7 with it this week.
Okay, that's a much better use to test the control pad.
I've done it now. Like, I've played it now, but when I was just like, I just want to make sure this works. I want to make sure it's fine. I was like, what's just easy? Oh, that'll load up in a window.
Yeah, the left analog stick does work.
It's fine.
Quite the workout.
The left analog stick does really work.
I'm really excited, and it was just before this stream, actually. Speaking of controllers, I've been talking with Dave about this in the past, but I've been wanting to be able to play some games on the TV out in the living room. Mainly because Jess whinges at me that I'm in here all the time. So I thought, well, if I can take the games out there...
Can't believe you're in that room ignoring me, Josh.
Oh, you
can be right next to me.
Yeah. Anyway, Dave mentioned a few weeks ago Steam Link. Or like you can stream Steam games to other devices. And so I had but the horsepower is done on the host machine. Mm-hmm. And so I was about to get a little spare computer ready that I've got there that couldn't otherwise play games, but I just plug it in the TV, plug in the Xbox controller, and away you go. Turns out, Android TV, which is on a lot of smart TVs nowadays, including ours, you can literally just install the Steam Link app onto that. And Android TV natively supports Xbox controllers via Bluetooth.
Nice.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool.
So I set it up, linked my Steam in the app on the TV with my computer, and tested it out. Power Wash Simulator works great.
Vampire Survivors, clearly. Come on.
Vampire Survivors, that's obviously the game to test.
I did assume that Vampire Survivors was what we were going for.
That'd be like a very interesting, because like there's so much stuff going on at any given time. Like, how does the integrity of the picture hold out?
Yeah, true.
So I tried it as a proof of concept. I've got a TV just above me here, and I tried on that, but that's got it's got a pretty crappy like wireless card in it, I think.
And it's still in shop mode no matter what you do.
It goes back to demo mode. It's pretty pictures on it as we speak. And that was fine. You could tell there was some picture degradation to ensure that it didn't. It was like basically like buffering. Instead of stopping the buffer, it would just lower the quality. And
that would be probably the preferable one to
have
control pad lag or something like that.
But the TV in the living room is wired into the network.
Right.
And so I went out, tested it on there with Rise, Son of Rome, because I just bought that for $3. And
that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that for ages.
It was $3 and I wanted to finish it.
Even with the misgivings that game has, I enjoyed the shit out of that game.
Well, Jamie and I remember when I first got it on the X, because it was launch title on the one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jamie put it through its tests. And he's like, I wonder. And I remember you just sat there and didn't press any buttons for the QuickTime events, and you still won the fights.
Yeah, he just did it.
The QuickTime events, as I found out later on when I tried it, are literally pushing the right buttons are literally only to get a better score, which doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I
was a
playing,
bit more action orientated. So I tested that out, and it might as well have been plugged in.
Nice.
It's actually incredible.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I enjoyed that game, and it is like one of those things where, like you said, it's fairly intense in the way that it does get a lot of stuff going on. Like even in that first.
I don't care about the game. I was talking about the technology of being able.
That's why I'm saying like there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
pretty much all the time in that game. Like you don't really have many levels that are just like you're a guy and you're a sneaker. No, you're a guy in an army and there's an army and there's a million guys.
Yeah.
So it would be a good test for something like that.
So I'm excited at the prospect of putting a wireless keyboard and mouse out there and seeing if they can connect via Bluetooth to the Android TV and be used as input devices.
You'd hope so. Like if they were going to go to the effort of putting drivers for a Bluetooth control pad.
Yeah.
You can sync up a wireless keyboard and mouse to your phone. So it would make sense if they're still running an Android operating system on your TV, you'd have that same kind of functionality.
Because then, Guild Wars.
Look, failing that, we get nerdy. You just do some HDMI over Ethernet and run.
I have a 10-meter HDMI cable. I'll just run that out the door and plug it straight into the TV.
Look, I can get in your roof again. It's fine. We can do that.
Dave, you got to stop going in people's roofs.
Dave's just offering to get into people's roofs.
If Dave knows two things, to the roof life. It's the mining and gathering places in Guild Wars 2 and the insides of people's roofs.
Insides of people's roofs remind him of the caves he has to crawl through.
When he found that mouse, he's like, "Oh, this is like Guild Wars. I'm finding treasure."
Yeah. Well, I found.
There must be another player here.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was
I can take it again.
I was so adamant when we built this house that I would get a projector that I got the builders to put HDMI through the roof.
Right.
So that I could just attach a thing, put a hole, go HDMI, bam, done. So, half the job's done for you, Dave.
It's just getting over to the edge of the roof again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, true. But, that was...
I don't know, we found out that the builders made it very difficult for my house, so...
Yeah.
I'm assuming they didn't do the same deal.
All your wall cavities are capped. They got timber over them, which means we have to drill through them. Whereas mine aren't. You can just drop whatever you want down there, like drill bits, which I've done.
You've left so many things in your roof.
On your roof.
Bread knife. I'll never live that one down.
No, you won't.
But you used a bread knife to cut a hole in your roof.
In the plaster, yeah. And in a similar vein, Dave and his family would come round, our kids play together and stuff like that. And poor Dave... if we played games, I'd just put him on the Mac, which, particularly with Guild Wars in this day of age where we're all playing Guild Wars, it doesn't run well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like when it was first released and laggy.
It's just a slideshow.
I actually, that has reminded me that I have like a little bit of a thing where I remember the Guild Wars has a Mac version, and I know someone with a Mac that I was like, oh, maybe you should get on and play, but then I was also like... Oh, they discontinued it?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. And so that's part of the problem is to get it running on the Mac, you basically have to run it in an emulator.
Windows.
So anyway, in a similar vein to streaming to my living room TV, I took one of those little Lenovo. I got like a little Lenovo corporate type micro form factor PC.
Yeah.
And we were testing out. Now, bear with me. On my computer, I create a virtual machine that runs Windows as well.
Yeah.
I then share with that virtual machine all my proper computer's resources, including 50% of the graphics card. Then from the computer over there that I set up for Dave, it connects to the virtual machine over the internet, and you can play games on it like you were sitting in front of an actual gaming computer.
To be fair, for a game that came out 10 years ago, you'd hope that would be enough.
Well, you can play any game. That's the video. You can play... Like, if you just YouTube 2 gamers, 1 CPU, just be careful with Googling.
2 gamers, 1 CPU. Yeah. That is a horrifying video that I never want to see. I've already seen the girls in the cup. I don't want to see 2 gamers, 1 CPU.
You know, there was an Ask Reddit thread, and it was like, your username is now your occupation. Reddit after I've said that. Your username is now your occupation. How are you faring? And the top comment was a guy with a username, and all he said was, "Oh no," because his username was 3 guys, 2 cups.
I mean, it's not a good time.
No.
Would they all fit? No, they wouldn't.
No.
So,
but anyway, yes, I've been virtualizing. In other words,
and that was a really smooth process, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that was hours wasted. Trying to get that work. And then I found someone who'd basically written a script that does it all for you. And so I'm like, no way this works. Ran that. Worked perfectly in 30 seconds. So,
well, let's face it, you're not allowed to find shit like that until after you've done it. After you've done it,
it has to be
then you can find
frustrating few hours, yeah.
You've got to be literally like red in the face, steam out of your ears, heart attack pumping ready.
Yeah.
Before you find that shit. It's like a constant of the universe.
And then you're angry that you found it. You're angry that it works.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what gives you the energy to understand that now that you've done the work, you can play the game. That's what we've got to... If
crashed. Guild Wars 2 doesn't actually run through.
Dave, I was going to leave that out.
No, that's the
best. That's the best ending to that story I could have.
I've given up troubleshooting it. It's not worth my time just yet. I mean, Dave doesn't come over every day, so he can wait. But I got to the point.
I log on from here. You can get to the VM here. That's fine.
I got to the point.
It crashes loading Guild Wars 2.
I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? Because I can't go to bed when there's a computer problem. I have to start and fix it. It's caused many a late night. And my brain let me go to bed once the virtual side of everything was set up. And then I made the mistake of trying to boot the game to do a final test. And Guild Wars 2 just continually crashed. And my brain was like, you know what? We've done good work today. It's enough. And I haven't gone back to it. So,
but you did it, Josh.
You know.
But you've got proof of concept.
There's some interesting little projects on the go. I've been doing a lot around home. I even cleaned the cupboard where all my kind of network gear is. That was exciting.
It's very clean, looking good.
Yeah. See, I had to send a picture of it to Dave. I sent a picture of it to my parents for some reason, and they were like, "Okay."
Sure, it's covered with stuff in it.
And I'm like, no, damn it! I need to send it to someone that's going to appreciate it.
Someone who knows what they're looking at.
Yeah.
Someone that knows what disaster this was before. Yeah.
Yeah, I had seen it in its previous state. To be fair.
Yeah, it was a little messy. But yeah, I mean, other than kind of taking on a few little projects here and there, I personally haven't played many games. I mean, Power Simulator got released. Like out of early access.
Oh, that was an early access. I just assumed it was done.
I know, it was that good. And they had like 3 or 4 levels that I hadn't played. And
anyone in the chat that saw us try to play that on stream, and then we abandoned it to live stream us taking 8 cheeseburgers or whatever it was to Jamie.
That's right.
They know how that went.
I forgot that was the same night.
That was the same night.
That was our best stream. Power Wash Simulator.
Power Wash Simulator.
McDonald's delivery. But I'm up to 80 hours in that at the moment, so that's value for money.
Jeez! Wow!
Nice.
Well, because the last 3 or 4 levels that came with the launch version added 20 hours recently. I was at 60, now I'm at 80.
Did they add 20 hours in general, or did they add 20 hours for you, Josh?
I mean, I'm very out of focus.
Yeah, I have. I'm waiting for it to come back. I'm trying not to move.
The camera's been drinking as well.
Yeah, this is Nick.
There we go.
There he is.
Oh,
Now I'm back. You just got the Nick virtual machine streamed to your TV.
This is how I see life.
But yeah, Power Wash Simulator and just a lot of Guild Wars. We started our guild. That's going well.
Oh yeah, we do have a Neon City Daily effectively guild. We have our guild. So if anyone sees this, they play Guild Wars 2 and they want to join a guild that's fun, friendly, and ready to teach you how to get further in the game and see more than you've ever seen before. What's her name? Is it Barfly Bros?
Yes, Barfly Bros.
yes, it is.
Yeah, or just get in touch
named
with
by
us.
our resident namer.
I gave you guys a list.
You did.
Pick Barfly Bros.
You did the similar thing with Neon City Daily. You gave us options.
Yeah, I like how Nick because okay, Nick, on your screen, whatever you do is mirrored in the actual thing. So you were pointing away from me.
Oh, okay. As far as my screen that I can see is concerned, it's mirrored back to me.
Because if I gotta be like this,
wait,
but on my screen
Jamie?
I'm doing this.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Josh,
What?
It's not.
Is this you?
Well, although on my screen,
Yeah, that's now
okay,
you
yeah,
got him.
and now I'm looking inside the Neon City Daily podcast. You were right the first time, but it flips around all over the place.
This way.
Complicated.
It's very
It's always
complicated.
complicated.
Yeah. Everybody pointed at each other.
Wait,
Did it work?
I don't know.
This is a good podcast.
I think it did.
This is going to be great for the audio listeners.
Yeah,
People
audio
just-
medium.
Yeah, anyone that's
And then for 30
audio,
seconds, they were just silent like dickheads.
Yeah.
As opposed to talking like dickheads.
But people know what pointing looks like. They can use their imaginations.
Yeah, we got it wrong if you're just listening.
we got
speaking of
pointing
dickheads,
wrong to start with. Oh,
Tencent.
Yeah.
You see that they're trying to basically buy a majority in Ubisoft.
No.
They're trying to do that with everything.
Well, I've just been on this big rabbit hole on Tencent, which is basically, for those that don't know, it's basically China's Communist Party's commercial wing.
They have something to do with Pokemon Unite too, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally,
yeah.
I told James, I booted that game up, and the first thing that I saw on the splash screen was Tencent Games. I'm like, oh no.
And Tencent have a big stake in Discord as well.
Yes. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
They're watching this right now.
Yep.
We fucked.
Fuck the CCP.
We're really fucked now.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't. Anyway.
Take the drunk first. But yeah,
I'm drunk enough, I'll go down screaming.
I've been down that.
But if I'm sober,
hole.
I'll go down silently.
Been down that 10-cent rabbit hole, and they own basically everything. And I was surprised to learn, that Ubisoft is family owned. Did not know that.
What a family.
So there's just
they're
this
an independent
massive
company,
French family that just is just we make more Assassin's Creed. Like
I didn't know.
How like closely knit are they? Is the family actually involved in it?
Yeah,
now you've given me something I want to know about now, Josh. You better be ready.
That's why people listen to the podcast.
You have to be ready with facts and information now, because I want to know which estranged cousin got really pissed off and said, no, make the Division. Fuck
I don't know how to pronounce his name, but the long-term boss of Ubisoft is Guillemot. Guillemot?
Guillermo.
His first name is Yves.
Ilford Ylvis.
Which is just like Yves
Guillermo.
I don't know, he's French. It's weird.
Gilly V.
And yeah,
I
basically,
bet
it's a family.
Half, James, I bet Legs, if she was listening to this, She is so mad at every pronunciation that any of us just said right then.
She's not in the room. I'm safe.
You didn't receive a smack to the back of the head.
But like they're even offering. I just pulled the article back up because Nick made me nervous. I needed answers. They're even offering $100. I think that's euro per share, which is way above what the shares are currently valued at. So they really want. They really want a good chunk of Ubisoft. So
I mean, I get wanting Ubisoft. Like it's
they already own 5%. But
yeah, like it's got a lot of big name shit. Like is all right.
I understand why they feel like now's the time to strike because they've just been bringing out shit for ages. So
yeah,
obviously a lot of investors we wanted to get off that train.
I was about to. You've reminded me of something that makes me sad, and I wasn't sure how to bring this up.
Have another drink
beforehand.
First, I don't think you've had enough.
It made me just kind of. Really,
I swear, if this is about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I'm walking.
It is.
Bye, Jamie.
But what happened was that they were doing a really good thing. And I've said this for years. Hey! And I've said this for years, is that the best part of the Assassin's Creed games is the part where you're actually in, quote-unquote, the Animus. And the
characters that are there.
You can see your cat now.
Where?
Yeah, there he is.
There
he's
like, no.
Where you're in the Animus, where you're in the thing, where you're being the guy, where you're doing the thing. I care so little for the shit outside of the period stuff in those games, to the point where I avoid it as much as humanly possible, even though...
Well, did they even bring it up in Valhalla?
Yeah, they did pretty hard, and it's really central to the story, and it made me just want to punch myself in the dick because it was just...
Because I played the first few hours of that game, and I don't remember the...
No, it doesn't really kick in super hard for ages, but it does when it does pop up. It's really integral to the story.
Yeah.
And the problem is that I really like the story and the characters in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But what they did that pissed me off, and why I haven't bought the latest expansion, was like, I got annoyed that I bought the pass to get the expansions because I loved Odyssey. I loved Odyssey to bits. Odyssey was amazing.
Is that the Egyptian one?
No, Odyssey was the Greek one.
Okay.
The Egyptian one doesn't have as many of the the ease of use. What am I trying to say? User good. It doesn't have as many user good.
This is what happens when you drink, kids.
As Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Look, this is just what happens when you live life, Josh. But
you use words like "is good."
What? Just fucking liver abuse.
Quality of life. That's what I'm looking for. Quality of life. Odyssey does. Origins doesn't have as much quality of life stuff as Odyssey does, and I feel like the quality of life stuff was really necessary for that game, especially because of how sprawling it is. And because of just the amount of stuff you're expected to do. And so what happens is, it makes it very user-friendly. Dark, you are correct. Odyssey was so much more user-friendly than Origins. And so I really got into Odyssey, especially the setting and how you were sailing around, all that kind of stuff. Great game. Loved it to bits. And it did flick back to, the real world instead of being in the Animus. But it did stuff in the real world, which, yes, it affected the story, but it was stuff that I was just like, I can get over that and keep playing the main game. In Valhalla, they kind of do a thing where they end up doing something outside of the Animus, in the quote-unquote real world, where I kind of sat there and went, I don't give a fuck. And it's actually hurt my user experience. And what I expect out of the Assassin's Creed games is that I expect them to come out semi-incomplete. There will be some busted things in it. It will not quite be perfect.
What a sad reality of the game.
I know, it's shit. It's shit, and I'm actually going to talk about that in a moment. I'm going to lead to something that I didn't realize I was leading towards, but I'm mad about it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla comes out. It's kind of busted, it's what I expect, but then they do things to the story, and they do things to the story in the quote-unquote real world outside of the 900 setting that made me go, I don't care. And then it seems like what they did to try and recover from that was like in Odyssey, the expansions, I will fully admit, got more and more ridiculous. Like, you ended up going to Hades in that game. And for a game that prides itself on how historically accurate it is, and it is incredibly historically accurate for the look and feel of a lot of things.
Okay, but aren't there aliens and shit in the Assassin's Creed games? Everything's on the table.
Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of science fiction shit, but like, say, they can bring out, if you look at a map of Sparta the city in 300 BC, that's the map that they made their game map go to.
Right,
it's
and
stuff
the
like that.
location of Hades is right there.
Well, the location of Hades is often a statue when you get sucked in by an alien.
Oh, well, there you go.
But, you know, they get more and more ridiculous with the expansions. You go to Hades, you go to all this, but it's all framed in such a way that you understand why they did it.
I thought you were about to say, it's all French. It's all French.
It's all French. But it ran away. Oh no, it's Waterloo. But like you, it's one of those things where I came out of Odyssey and I was like, all that was understandable, all that's fine. But they did a thing in Assassin's Creed Valhalla that made me go, I genuinely feel like so much of what I did was for no result. It has annoyed me. And so I was looking for the expansions. The expansions came out, and I got the first couple that were included in my season pass thing, and that was fine. And I played them, and yet again, the Animus in the 900s content, I enjoyed it. It was fine. Then the latest one comes out. Apparently you go to Valhalla, you get a bunch of shit going on. And now one of the things is you basically end up getting a set of armor that makes you look like Master Chief. And instead of sneaking up and stabbing people, you have an Iron Man fucking unibeam. And I'm just like, you can't pass this. Like, for a game that literally, in-game itself, you pride on being as historically accurate as you can while adding sci-fi to it, I get that. But if I'm in the 900, in the year 932, and I see a motherfucker walking around with power armor, I'm going to be like, no.
Does he do the Iron Man hero landing?
He does, actually, because that's like a pop thing.
Wow.
But yeah,
it's as bad as I thought.
Well, that's the thing. I literally saw a video, and this is the thing that kind of alerted me to it, made me not want to buy it, was that a guy like snuck up on a tower, and I was like, I remember that tower. That was an interesting area to go through. That was, and then got behind him, and then went... And the voiceover of the guy on the stream, whatever it was, said, Assassin's Creed has changed. And he just fucking, boo, and just unibeam this motherfucker out into the sky. And I was just like, I don't care anymore.
Which member of the Ubisoft Zaibatsu arcade?
Yeah, like, which motherfucker said that was fine? Because I literally want to shit in their letterbox. And it's not okay. And it's just one of these things where I'm like, you've fucked up a series. You are genuinely fucking up a series. But that kind of game, yet again, it's unfortunate because that expansion came out at about the time that usually the Ubisoft games like that, like Assassin's Creed, about a year and a bit later, they feel finished from the patching. That's usually the time frame. You get it to come out on launch. If you really enjoy it, you battle through playing it. But if you want to enjoy it and you're not super into it and desperate to play it, you kind of wait a year and a bit. Then it's been patched, then it's not as busted, then you can play it. And so this expansion is something that a lot of people are going to come into it and play, especially because it's been packaged with it in a bunch of sales. I was like, oh, that sucks. Now you're Master Chief in the 900s and they've got bows and you've got a unibeam. You have a chesty unibeam.
What just happened to the stream, Josh?
Don't know.
Were you playing with something then?
I think
we had like a transition.
I think Josh flicked scenes.
What?
But
you put the
you can see where the cat is now.
You put a cat.
Cat.
I see.
But so what that has made me remember and has made me annoyed about though was a franchise that I loved, I enjoyed immensely, Saints Row. Have you guys heard about the latest one?
I have.
Yeah.
I have not.
No.
It is apparently a reskin of Saints Row 3 in essentially all the gameplay elements are pretty much exactly the same.
Okay.
And it's not good.
So it's supposed to be a new game, not a remaster.
It's a reboot. It's meant to be a reboot.
Yeah, it's meant to be a reboot. It's meant to be like let's say when they did Total Recall again as a movie, it was like we're just forgetting the other one was there. And so they did Saints Row, the newest one, and it's in like the Nevada desert or something, like Las Vegas or whatever. It's got so many bugs that the people playing it in early access, in like the day before it came out access, were just like, this is shit. This is actively shit. Like, this is not good. It's not. It's so undercooked that it's not done. Like, we shouldn't have it. But then I find out things like, one of the reasons that you are performing the crimes, the epic Saints Row crimes that you perform in that series, is because you're trying to pay off your student debt.
What?
And then there's a sequence in it that actively made me mad. I don't think I felt insulted. Like, it's kind of rare that I get like mad about shit, but it's very rare that I get like offended. Right? I don't like.
You just
sit there and no. I get mad about insignificant shit all the time, and mostly it's because I'm having fun yelling at it. But the fact is that there's a sequence in the game where you have to quick time event, rolling out of bed, walking to your kitchen, getting, I think it's a waffle out of the fridge, and then not having the effort to toast it, so you just eat it because you have the SADs. Now, that's not what I play a video game for. Not that one, anyway. If I play like fucking, what is it, like the Eldritch Rider's wife, like if I play like a walking simulator or something, or if I play like, This Is Sad the game, then that's what I'm there for, right? But if I'm playing Saints Row, I'm there to blow shit up, steal a bunch of shit, make ridiculous character creator choice options, and have fun. But apparently now it's like, okay, we think it's really funny for you to be so depressed you can't get out of bed.
I mean, ideally you want to be playing like just an amoral sack of shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like
that's it.
Because like, I mean, who wakes up and goes like, yeah, I want to be a gangbanger because of student loans.
Yeah. So it's...
What are you doing, Charlie? Keep on task.
We're talking about busted games, Josh. Now people are releasing games unfinished and also destroying franchises that I like. Yeah, so I don't know. I was looking at it and I was just like, I think I looked at it and I was like, I kind of want it to know. Like I'm going off like secondhand experiences here. I'm going off videos online. I'm going off what people have said. And I was just like, I really enjoyed this franchise. Like for me, Saints Row 3 was a low point. Saints Row 4 was fun enough to bring it back a bit.
Yeah.
Get Out of Hell, I really enjoyed. Apparently I'm in the minority in that, but I really enjoyed that. Yes. Partially because I really enjoyed playing as Kinsey because she's hilarious. And got really annoyed that at the end you had to play as Johnny Gat to finish the game. That annoyed me, but it was still a really fun game. And so I'd actually kind of been waiting to see what came out of this. But then I'm just like, okay, they're releasing a busted game with quote-unquote humour that I don't like from the sound of it. And, I mean, let's face it, my favourite Saints Row game is Saints Row 2, where you were like...
Objectively the best one.
Yeah, it's blatantly the best one in storytelling, gameplay, co-op, everything.
Yeah. And
so you sit there and you go, I thought you learnt your lesson.
Now the thing for me, when I was watching just a little review video, because I had no idea what to expect from this game, I thought I might check it out, but I'll watch a video.
Sorry.
What?
No, nothing. All good.
Stop playing with the screen, Josh!
All right, we'll wrap it up very soon. I can tell that people's attention is starting to wane.
Sorry, I'm listening.
Sorry. I was at this point where I'm going to watch a video review to see what I think about to see what other people think about the game, any issues that they might have with it. And there was like this one particular point the guy in the video saying it's just Saints Row 3 reskinned, and I'm kind of thinking to myself, but like literally, like how much? And I saw them like the boss jack a car, and he did it by grabbing the top of the car and jumping in and kicking the window and sliding straight into the front seat. And that is just an animation literally from Saints Row 3.
Yeah,
like they've just taken the Saints Row 3
because in Saints Row 3 they added that left bumper button to like make it wacky or whatever it was.
To quick jack the car or whatever it was. Yeah. And because like the whole time they're going like, oh, we went to like for a more fun puckish rogue thing. And they kind of like broke the fourth wall when talking about that.
Yeah, when they were talking about it.
And my big hope was that a reboot would be a return to form, and they would give people a more interesting experience, a more grounded game with still ridiculousness, but that mix of ridiculousness and like just harsh, gritty gang violence that you got from number 2. And it looks like that's not the case at all. It looks like we're just right back into Saints Row 3.
Because that was always the thing that like made 3 feel like it dropped the ball, was that like 4 was this perfect mix of, yes, this is ridiculous and I can laugh at it, but it was also one of those things where you laughed and then you had that second of realization where you were like, oh, that's a bit messed up, like that's a bit of a mess. But the way that they presented it kept you moving forward and seeing the humor in what they were doing. And even though it kept giving you moments where it made you pull back a minute and be like, this is something that means something, but I'm still being propelled forward.
I thought that 4 was like in terms of story, like it was nothing, but they were trying all these weird things with the gameplay. Like it was basically a superhero game.
When did 4 come out?
Oh, I don't know, 2012 or something like that.
Sure.
But
all I remember for sure is that the Australian censorship board, like cut a bit out of it to the point where Jamie specifically bought the American version for me so we could play co-op.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And so that game was like, it was fun to play.
Yeah.
But it didn't. I wasn't like, this is a Saints Row game.
No. Yeah.
And number 3 was just like, oh, this is like an inferior Saints Row game.
Yeah.
This is like, this is they're trying some stuff, and I don't like the direction it's heading, and they've removed some things from it that I wish they hadn't. But I mean, I can still play it.
Yeah.
But I don't know about this.
Was it
I
not
don't
just
know
a quirky GTA? That's how it was once described to me.
That's how they tried to market it.
That's how they tried to market it. But
I guess in a way that's true, but they've really leaned hard into the quirkiness.
Yeah, they've gone.
Like I said, had a mix.
Whereas, number 2 was like it was leaning into GTA and the seriousness of GTA, but it still kept a lot of humor running through it consistently enough for you to differentiate it enough that it was like, no, this is the funny one. They kind of ended up going, well, no, we've decided that we want to differentiate ourselves more, so look at how funny this is.
Yeah.
And it just, for me, it didn't work for them. I don't know what their sales numbers were like. I don't know how many players it's got. But for me, I was just like, that doesn't appeal to me anywhere near as much.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a missed opportunity, honestly. It's really disappointing. I'll probably get it if I see it on sale for like, $1.50.
Apparently, because the thing that was always consistent in the Saints Row games is that you always had like 2 or 3 people that were like other leaders in your gang.
Yeah.
They were always kind of there and helping you give missions and all that kind of stuff. And they were the people you talk to upgrade things and do things like that or change your gang. And they're always there, but apparently the ones in this new game are really annoying. And I think about that mixed with the fact that how much time you spend with them in the other games, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. I'm gonna put my fist through my monitor if that's the game. Like, because you spend a lot of time with them in the other games.
Are they marketing it specifically as a new game?
Yeah, it's just called Saints Row.
Yeah,
right. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
I think it's. I looked on. Is there any deal? Because I thought, oh well, if it's already getting reviewed that badly, like let's see how much it's. I think it's running at about $74.95 AU.
That's about $50 too much.
Yeah, that was my thinking. Was it like as much as I want to get this, and as much as I want to play this, and as much as I want to yell about this game, because let's face it, anger's a good motivator for me. I just couldn't make myself do it.
It's such a shame because we've had. The Saints Row games haven't been in circulation for a long while, and you would think, they've had enough time to make a game that is polished and should be interesting, and takes all the lessons they learned from these previous games and makes something new and fresh and interesting. But it seems to be just like the same mini games, the same engine, the same shit. Bad writing, bad characters,
and it's got like bugs galore in it,
and bugs everywhere. Like that's the crazy thing.
Well, hang on a minute. Let's just quickly take a look because Saints Row 4. Let's face it, look, it's the last mainline game that they made. That came out in 12th of September 2013.
Yeah. Okay.
So they've had 9 years. To make something better, but what they've done in the meantime is they've re-released 3 and 4 with slightly up.
Oh yeah, they did like a lighting remaster.
Yeah, so they basically gave better lighting to 3 and 4, added in the DLC with the base game. Then they made Get Out of Hell, which is on the same engine on the same map with like a hell skin.
Yeah.
And realistically, what they've done is, I guess, spent the last 6 years faffing about.
What was it? I saw you play on stream, Nick. You played
Saints Row 2.
It was 2.
I played a bit of Saints Row 2. I was. That's actually possibly what I'll go back to playing this week when I jump back on for a night, because I really like it. And what I was doing was I was jumping on stream, and what I was playing was all of the side missions, because the side missions get you stuff that helps with the game. So it's like leveling in an RPG before you go and fight the boss. I'm actually looking at going back to that just to play it, just to basically yell about how much better this is than anything they've made since.
Nice.
Even though it's got such miserable control pad support that I keep using the keyboard. And that with that kind of game is actually really difficult for me. But it's just blatantly the best Saints Row game.
Yeah, they should have re-released that one.
Yeah, no. If they remastered that and put that out again,
I don't know why 1 and 2 are just consigned to obscurity. They will never revisit 1 and 2.
So 1 was only on the 360. I'm pretty sure it wasn't anything else, and that is really unfortunate that it's lost to that generation. Because as much as it was broken. Like, it was busted. Like, it was way more broken than any of the ones that they've put out since. But it was, like, I went all the way through that, and it had co-op, and it was still there, and it still had that same writing, it still had that same storytelling, and I think it just was better than 3 and 4. In that way, that it was just better with the storytelling, better with the characterization. And it introduced you to all the characters that you then kind of needed to at least have a vague idea about for 2 and 3. I still remember playing I think 3 with you, and someone came up, and I was just like, "Oh, that's this guy from 1, Jamie. I'll explain what he did."
Oh, yeah, it was like Dex or something.
Yeah. Well, Dex was a big guy in 2, and then there was the Green Mile guy in 3. Right. So I remember going through a lot of that, and it was stuff where I'm sitting there and like, that is unfortunate that game got just consigned to that generation, and it's just lost now. It's just off in oblivion. But yeah, if they redid 1 and 2, like, I'd give them $80 for that.
You can pick up number 2 for $3.73 on Steam.
Yeah, it just doesn't run so good is the problem. Like, it's a really messed up port.
Hey, did you see the sorry, all the talk of remakes reminded me that SWTOR got, like, because they're doing a remake of that, and the studio got rid of a bunch of people or something. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's in trouble, the remake.
Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah.
Considering how anticipated that is, I thought that they would have all of the support ever.
there's something to do with the studio. Sorry. I'm just looking it up. So paused indefinitely.
Oh.
Texas-based studio Asper. Recent internal demo didn't land as well as it could when shown to Lucasfilm and Sony.
Fuck!
Interesting.
That's red flags to me.
Yeah, I mean,
shown to executive industry people didn't land well. Makes me immediately go, oh, fuck those guys.
But like Lucasfilm have already established they've got a very low bar for quality based on their movies. Like how bad does this have to be to not pass muster?
They will have low bars of quality for a whole bunch of shit like that. They won't give a fuck about the user experience. They will give a fuck about how much money they're going to make from it. And I'm sorry, but Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic should not be made into something that is going to make you sit there and buy like fucking microtransactions and shit. It is not that kind of game. It should just be a complete game that you fucking get and you play. You should not have a separate fucking menu where you can buy different lightsaber colors.
Oh, okay, sorry. There's an update.
Oh, Neil says that it moved over to Saber Interactive.
Yeah, on the 22nd, moved to Saber Interactive's Eastern Europe studio.
Interesting. Because, like, from what I understand, it's not like what they're doing with Knights of the Old Republic 2, where they are just taking the old game and just kind of like slapping like a fresh coat of paint and then reselling it again.
Yeah,
they are, from what I understand, completely remaking this game from the ground up, which I think is dangerous and probably going to be bad.
I feel like it's unnecessary, if I'm going to be honest. So...
Yeah. So, well, I guess we'll see.
Because I've actually recently installed and played Knights of the Old Republic again, the old version again, and I kind of told myself like, oh hey, we got Duckler1 in chat. How you doing, man? But I've actually recently reinstalled it and played it a little bit again. Then I kind of said to myself, oh no, they're working on an updated version of it. Like I'll stop. I'll let myself not play it now, and I'll wait and see what the game looks like when it hits in the new version. And realistically, like even playing that, I am perfectly fine if all they do is make it look better, like have better lighting, upgrade the models, upgrade the textures.
That was my attitude towards Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. And you remember we reviewed that in one of our podcasts, the launch trailer for the remake.
Oh,
and it looks shit.
Well, that's the thing. They made it look... Yeah, they made it look awful.
It looked worse than the original. So that's quietly gone back to development and suddenly no release date on that. Maybe Tencent can move it along when they buy Ubisoft.
Oh, jeez.
They'll transfer it to a competent company.
Yeah.
Crazy talk.
And then they'll have it stepped back by a bunch of allegations of sexual misconduct.
But hey, doesn't matter. Hogwarts Legacy's coming out. Hogwarts Legacy, you guys should get that. Although there's no co-op, which is really annoying.
Is it? I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I only know what you've...
There's no multiplayer or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm just really pumped for it, to be honest.
You are.
And it's making headlines consistently because of J.K. Rowling, and people just... Because they're like, oh, people...
For unfortunate reasons, let's be fair.
I know, but... Yes. Like... Because I haven't read any articles on it, but I've seen headlines. I've been meaning to catch up on what's happening. But Warner Bros. Or whoever the game studio is apparently officially addressed the elephant in the room. That is, like, her comments in the past and stuff like that. So I don't know what their stance is, but, you know, there's a lot of gamers saying that they're going to boycott the game, but I don't know...
Look,
if I don't think she was involved at all. Like, do you think it's fair enough though that you can enjoy her creation and separate the art from the artist?
Let's be real, okay? If the internet has taught me anything,
okay, Legs has made her stance very clear.
Yeah, Legs is just saying no, fuck it. And if the internet has made anything very clear to me, is that there is enough. Oh, she's always been hostile towards trans people. She's a TERF. She's a trans exclusionary radical feminist. She's fucking nuts. She doesn't make any sense.
Is it current? I honestly don't keep up.
It's ongoing, man. Every other tweet that she makes is fucking horrific.
Yeah. And J.K. Rowling,
and she's a fucking shit person.
She's the perfect example of don't get a Twitter account.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And but the thing is that I think one of the things that I assume at this point is that there is enough people, and for me, spending time on Reddit, spending time on forums, I'm an old motherfucker as far as the internet's concerned. A lot of the people on the internet now and in a lot of these public communal spaces are younger than me. And if the internet has proved anything to me is that the community surrounding, especially video games, well, really everything, any community that just sits on the internet has this weird thing where they're either very progressive and very outspoken, or they're very much pieces of shit and very outspoken. So what I think is that there will be enough people that even people that don't want to separate it and enjoy the game and forget her, there will be enough people that don't give a shit that this game will still be fairly successful.
Absolutely. Speaking as a massive fan of Michael Jackson and Tom Cruise, I've gotten quite adept at separating the art from the artist. But that does make me sad that she persists with the bullshit that she...
I think that's one of the parts that makes it even worse, is that she has had... I know for a fact that her publicist has said, hey, maybe don't be a piece of shit for a little bit. Let something blow over.
Because I can't...
Maybe stop saying things that make every person mad.
I imagine
but she just keeps going. She doesn't give a shit. She wipes her tears away with the fucking dollar bills, and she calls it a day. It's just how it works.
That's disappointing. That puts a bit of a dour point on my my excitement, because even if she's not involved creatively, she's assuredly got licensing, and
she's going to
make a dollar off it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I will not begrudge anyone for picking it up. It is one of those things where I'm very glad that let's say this, as much as George Lucas pisses me off.
I knew this was coming back to George Lucas.
As much as George Lucas
pissed me
off with the remakes of 4, 5, 6, annoyed the shit out of me with episode 1, 2, 3. He hasn't sat there and done anything where I've gone, you are personally a human being that I don't want to exist. I haven't ever thought to myself,
he looks big and cuddly.
Oh no, he would be for sure. I'd give him he'd be my little spoon. But he just hasn't done anything that's made me go, you are one of the worst human beings I've ever fucking heard of.
I just got this great little mental picture of Nick spooning George Lucas, and George Lucas just going oh, you're so warm.
Which chin of his would say that though, Jane?
the loudest one.
The loudest one. But yeah, so I just that actually made me have that threw me back to a core memory where as a child I was watching Ally McBeal on TV, and there was a dude that had a thing for older women because they had a little bit of skin under their neck that was called a model, and he was effectively cheating on his girlfriend by talking to an older woman, and he said something and she had something stuck on her.
And in 6 Degrees of Separation, Ally McBeal, the actress, married Harrison Ford, who played Han Solo, who's presumably met George Lucas. Bam!
He married
Is that the episode
Harrison
of Ally
Ford?
McBeal where the guy also kind of said that Ally McBeal looked like an older woman and she got offended because he was attracted to... How did I remember that?
I don't know.
Fun memories for both of you,
I had a stepmother that was desperately up for watching Ally McBeal all the time. She loved it. That's why I know I saw bits and pieces
of it. What's her name? Flockhart?
Ally McBeal.
Callista Flockhart.
Yeah, that's Harrison Ford's wife.
Wow.
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, didn't you?
Yeah, we knew that.
Breaking Hollywood news.
You call yourself a Star Wars fan?
No, I
don't think Harrison Ford calls himself a fan.
To be fair, you say you call yourself a Star Wars fan. I also try to distance myself about a lot of Star Wars fans. but yeah, like George Lucas has never done anything where I'm just like, you are human fucking garbage. And then there's J.K. Rowling, like someone that is absolutely beloved by like so many people for such a huge body of work. Like, let's face it, look at how thick some of those books are. I could bludgeon someone to death with 6 out of 7 of those books.
I have.
And yeah, that's it. I mean, I've helped you bury the bodies, but they're right there, and it's so much work, and it's so much time, and it's so much of so many people's lives.
Talking about the burying process or the reading process?
All of the above.
Oh, duh. And this is relatively on topic.
We haven't talked about buttholes again yet. So you've got, like I said, the books, the TV series, the TV series, not the TV series, the movie series, and then the spin-off movie series that happened that then has its own controversy shit. You have so much stuff, and it is such a formative core memory for so many people. Mm-hmm. And then you look at the creator, and it's like, how are you the shit part of this?
Just never meet your heroes.
Yeah, so you just... And that's why, like, to be fair... To be fair, I can understand people that will buy and enjoy the game because it is a universe that they've grown up loving.
Tell your heroes your gender identity.
Yeah, no. Never tell your heroes your gender identity. Yeah, and that's exactly how it is. And like I said, that's the thing. Where I can understand someone else doing it. I will probably not buy it myself just because of how fucking horrendous she is as a person, and I don't really have that much respect.
I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying though. It's like I don't have.
Let me keep my head in the sand.
You should be ashamed of yourself, Josh.
Like, yeah,
I do feel ashamed now.
I get to sit back and not have a stake, and that's why it's easy for me. Like, I don't really have a stake in the game. I watch the movies. I thought the first book was actually really boring, and I never really got attached at any point. Whereas someone that enjoyed it, and let's face it, spent years and years enjoying it, and now suddenly what is probably one of the most comprehensive experiences of that universe that you can then interactively play comes along, I can fully understand someone that's been that much into it, picking it up and playing it. Because it makes sense, especially if they aren't sitting there going, oh man, look at this bullshit that happened on Twitter. So, it's a weird middle space. She's a horrible person, but I understand people buying it.
Because I bought into it. Some of my fondest memories was my mum starting to read that to me and my brother. And I've just loved the universe ever since. But, you know, I don't presume to understand the mind of J.K. Rowling, but for someone with such a creative mind who made a big deal of making Dumbledore gay after the fact,
that's right,
because there was a big outcry at the lack of sexual diversity.
Doug, I actually only read book 1 because Jamie lent it to me and told me I needed to read it. Otherwise, I probably never would have.
You're welcome.
Sorry, we just got a conversation.
No, that's okay. Like, she's got, like, half horse, half people and all this kind of shit, like, in her fantasy land. Like, don't know. It doesn't match up in my mind, but...
See, I'm not going to lie. One of the things that I actually thought about when a whole bunch of this stuff came along was that I look at the fact that I go, look at all this magic, right? And shit's changing around. You know, you got potions with people's hair and shit in it, and you can change into them, and you can, you know, like, oh, abracadabra, dicky poo, or whatever, and you can throw your dick away. All that kind of stuff. I'm just like, you know what? And I thought of this, like, years ago. And I thought... wouldn't that be an interesting thing of, like, especially after looking at some of the characters, because most of my experience has been the movies. And I look at it and I go, surely getting top or bottom surgery to change the physical gender you are would not be as difficult as it is in the Muggle world, in the Wizarding world.
Guys, I'm sorry, but... Legs in chat saying, where were the wizards when 9/11 happened?
Oh, hot take.
But they got if you watch Disgusting Beasts and Where to Fart on Them or whatever.
Bin Laden was a wizard, confirmed.
Find out that they were told to never fuck with Muggle affairs. And so the guys in charge of the Middle East were probably guys that stuck to the
Wizards
rules.
can't stop jet fuel from burning steel.
Oh, you said words. Fuck off. But yeah, so that was actually like my thought process was just like, you've got magic. You've got fucking magic. If you want to change what biological and physical gender you are, surely you don't have to sit through years of therapy repeating that fact over and over again. Just have to spend years proving that you feel that way over and over again, and eventually get legal authorization to have it first. Like, you're a fucking wizard, Harry. You know? Like...
If you don't want a dick, take it off.
Exactly! You've got magic!
Also, did you know that wizards apparently just like magic their shit away? Like they just like in the law, they just didn't wear underwear. They just shit on the ground. They just stand there in all their glory, shit on the ground, and go like "fuck away, yo!" And it was.
Do
gone.
they need someone to wipe their ass though? Or
no, because they had magic.
That's gone as well.
They had the wand.
That's gone too.
I feel like
Avada Kedavra.
This is really relevant as we wrap up because we're approaching 2 hours. But it's been a very angry podcast from Nick, I feel. So I made a little something.
You made a little something? What have you done?
So we can keep an eye on Nick.
It's just like a Bristol stool chart from Nick Tanger.
I mean, I get it. I understand it. I won't say that you're wrong for making it, but it is a chart from 1 to 10 of my rage.
Yeah, he's gone.
His face is there. We can't show him because he's too angry. He's an explosion, and that leads to negative consequences.
Does it? Are you sure?
That's what the chart says.
Hang on, negative consequences from me or for me?
For you.
Oh yeah, I make the negative consequences.
I can't read
I understand that.
The words on the chart though, it's very
so
small.
So if I get to 10, there's explosion, violence, loss of control, negative consequences, and you lose. And I feel like Josh has nailed it today. So congrats to Josh. He's sorted that out for me.
I stole that off the website. I just googled.
You stole the chart and you took my old art.
Yeah. I got credit where credit's due. Nice. Jamie Drew, Angry Nick.
To be fair, I do enjoy the fact that Legs is there saying I seem pretty tame at the moment because I'm like, yeah, she knows.
He has a big smile while yelling about Rally. Yeah, he's enjoying it.
And Duck has said that I'm too sober for it to be too bad at the moment. So I feel like for any first time viewers, they understand that this gets worse.
And that is terrifying, and we should end it there.
Yeah, on that note, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. You can find the VOD on YouTube. It should be up tomorrow. And we'll have it on Spotify and everything. Book? What's this?
Jamie was doing a brilliant outro, by the way. I hate
to interrupt. He killed me.
Dave, show Jamie the book.
Dave, why do you have that book?
Toilets of the World as a book is something that I fully expect to be the best thing that anyone's ever made. That is someone's pinnacle achievement. How many hours did they spend researching that?
They had to go around the world, Nick.
Oh man!
Just after the butthole wiping talk earlier, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's on my desk."
That's brilliant. I mean, it's just on my desk. I was halfway through it.
I'm lending it to a friend.
Is it Nick?
Are they travelling? I feel it's only relevant if you're travelling.
I'm looking for that book.
I wonder what kind of toilets North Korea has. I mean, King Jong-un doesn't have to use one because my man doesn't poop, but...
No, dragons don't shit.
There's a whole lot of... There's some good stuff in there.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, I've been Jamie.
I've been Nick.
I've been Josh.
And I am still Dave.
Thank you for tuning in, and good night.
Bye-bye.